What a world, it is your boy D-Dread on the mic, coming in with the old classic. Our boy, pew pew, is going to be BEELZEMON out on blast. And you know I got that BT15 spice for you guys. So in this video, I'm going to go over my deck, ratios, tech, and all the good stuff. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash it with a like as standard, really helps out with the channel. And if you're new to the channel as well, make sure you subscribe too. I do videos on the reg. Right, let's dive straight in to the eggs. Solid 4 for sure, and that is going to be your starter deck Digimon. Definitely best in the slot here, because when you're basically swinging with a wizard or demon lord, you're able to trash the top 2 cards of your deck, which once again, trashing cards, filling up your trash is definitely the key win con of this deck. Means that you can pop off and basically close out game pretty quickly. So that concludes there for the eggs. We keep it short and sweet. You could run with the Pago egg, but it's just not going to happen in this format. I'm not going to lie here. So going on to the rookies. Rookies run a solid 12. Starting off with, it's got to be our boy, the starter deck Impmon, which is definitely hella clean. And Nerd's Ball has always been cracked. If you trash a card from the top of your deck, you're able to delete a level 3 Digimon on the opponent's side, which is just always good for obviously knocking out floodgates. Means that you can get your memory gains and all the good stuff. Also, it's when attacking can really close out games, because if you have 20 more cards in trash, you may digivolve into a BEELZEMON from your trash for the dissolution cost of 3, ignoring its dissolution requirements, which is really good right here, because the starter deck BLs actually costs you 4, so obviously reducing that cost there if you manage to evo into him from the trash. So really helpful in terms of you wrapping up game, getting that nice warp potential. Then we go in with, it's going to be our Impmon X Antibody. Really, really good card here, because this, once again, inheritable, facilitating the trashing of your deck, because you're able to trash the top 2 cards, which is just really good. But its on play and when digivolving is really helpful for you to essentially reclaim key pieces in order for you to essentially climb up your line by trashing an option card, so it's not color specific, from your hand. So really good stuff, and you can pretty much grab pretty much in the entire deck really, apart from obviously your Tamers and so forth. So really solid. Definitely want to run in that at 4. Then we do run the infamous BT2 Impmon. This, once again, is going to be your Digimon that you're just going to basically swing at security, and obviously pressure board presence as well, because if the opponent deletes it, you're able to trash top 3 cards of your deck. Really good for you to start building up your trash with this card. If you do bring this back with EX2 BLs, it's just a really good card for you to essentially just get your aggro on whilst basically meeting your win con. Then lastly, we run the one of EX2 Impmon. This right here, honestly, if they brought this back off the restriction list, this deck will be back tier 1 again. It is an absolute menace, because this just helps you once again trash more cards if it's trash off top of your top of your deck, because then you're able to trash an additional 3 cards there too. And also on play, it is a good searcher. You're able to get an Iron Mako and a BEELZEMON card from the reveal, and it's a real top 4, so really good stuff. And Inheritables just even cracked as well. Additional 3k DP when you're swinging with BEELZEMON in name is just pretty huge. Honestly, it was good times when this was at 4, but I understand why it got restricted. So yeah, that concludes there for the rookies. Solid 12. Going on to the champions, we're keeping this very clean, guys. Just solid 8, and that's going to be your promo Wizardmon. You also get this from the starter deck there too. This is just great for those memory gains. It's always a winner. Obviously, when it's trashed from your deck, gain 1 memory, perfect. But his actual, when attacking, is really strong. Really strong. Definitely abuse it if you can, because when attacking, you may reveal 1 purple card in your hand and return it to the top of your deck. So you can just stack up core cards in order for you to either disrupt the opponent's game plan or for you to extend your game plan. So really good stuff. Definitely want to be running that 4. Be crazy if you see a list that has this lower than 4. And then we just round it off with the X Antibody version there as well. Once again, similarly inheritable to Impmon X Antibodies, it is just helping you to trash more cards, which is great. Its when Digivolving is pretty nice. It essentially has 2 conditions. 9 times out of 10, you pretty much, if you have an Impmon out and you want to obviously build like a second stack, effectively what you're going to be doing is when Digivolving, trash the top 2 cards of your deck. If you have Wizardmon underneath, you won't get that effect, but you will gain blocker to the end of the opponent's turn instead. So obviously key thing there, you won't get both effects, but 9 times out of 10 you're probably going to get the trashing effects in most cases, because ideally you want to be building the perfect stack in the back in order for you to kind of then pop off and get the maximum trash values from your big swing. So that concludes there for the champions, but there is one notable mention I want to say in regards to obviously this meta. I don't have the card unfortunately, but it's going to be the Black Gatomon. I'm going to say Unerve. Might have butchered that, but basically it's got a security effect that you obviously can play itself. But its on play is that you can return 1 Digimon card from your opponent's trash to the bottom of the deck, and then you can draw 1, which is quite nice versus obviously the Leviamon matchup. But it is very, very, meta dependent. If it's pretty common, it might be worth teching in. Obviously, you just kind of have to readjust your champion lineup, but that is completely up to you. So, concludes there for the champions 8. Now going over to the ultimates, we run 6. So it's going to be obviously our boy. Start deck Balmon. Really, really solid in what it does. When Digimon Fair, trash the top 3 cards of your deck, which is just nice. And then when Digivolving, this Digimon gains on deletion. If there's 10 or more cards in trash, you may play a BEELZEMON from your trash without paying the cost until the end of your opponent's turn. So really good stuff here. Obviously you got to make sure that you have a BEELZEMON, so it's not a BEELZEMON in name, it is just a BEELZEMON, in order for you to obviously get this off. But once again, it is just really solid. It's inheritable, great there too. Obviously getting an additional 2k is going to be beneficial for you to kind of swing higher there as well, since obviously we've got the Impmon EX2 restricted. We don't get those big DP thresholds anymore. Then we round it off with a classic BT10 BEELZEMON, and this art is actually the new art that you win in, I think, the recent tournaments. I had to get it. It looks absolutely freaking badass. I really prefer this artwork. So this really helps when you have the perfect line and you can really just go in and get a lot of things in trash. Really helps you kind of pop off. It means that you have another option to kind of just raise in the back, and just kind of assess what the opponent's doing. Because when attacking, you may trash up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. So you can just trash 2 if you want to. You can trash 1 if you want to. It's completely up to you. You can control that. Then it'll always have an on deletion. If there's 10 or more cards in your trash, you may play 1 BEELZEMON from your trash without paying the cost. So it's just always constantly lingering, versus that one, it's only lingering for, it's only got that effect for a turn. So I do like this split right here. Obviously you can go 3-3 you want to, but I do like a nice 4-2 split, because that inheritable actually does come up quite often. So that concludes that for the ultimates. So going on to the megas. Megas, you're probably quite familiar with the spread, but I have increased the count of a particular card, and I'm going to explain why I have done it. So first off, we go in with the EX2 BEELZEMON. This is going to be very pivotal in this format, because deleting stuff by level is huge. Because a lot of things obviously kind of increase by DP and so forth, but by level is just such an OP deletion effect. Obviously, Leviamon deletes by level, and we already know how cracked that deck's going to be. But BLs really helps in terms of you getting that board presence in order for you to control the board with it when Digivolving and when attacking. And these are not once per turn, guys. It's huge, and it will go up depending on how many cards you have in trash in increments of 10. So if you have 20 in trash, effectively you are deleting you're deleting level 5s, I think. Hold on a minute, let me just make sure that is, yes, so you're deleting level 5s, which is huge because a lot of aces are level 5s. So for you to then start just gaining free memory because you popped and controlled their board is huge. If you have 30 in trash, it's popping level 6s. Crazy right there. So you are going to be leaning on the EX2 BLs quite a bit, just for that control and for you to just gain massive amount of memory from disrupting the opponent's board. Then we go in with the classic with the the starter deck BLs. This is still a solid choice here. Obviously great for that aggro, great for the memory gain there as well. Also just the trashing of 4 cards instead of, obviously we was kind of capped at 3 or lower, is really good. And then you gain a memory per well, basically gain a memory depending on how many cards are in trash. So if you have 10, you gain 1 memory, 20, gain 2, 30, gain 3, you get the drift. And then once obviously that effect is kicked off, then you gain a security attack, which is for the stack. So that will carry over to your like blast mode, to your X antibody version there as well. So really, really good stuff. Also, a thing to mention is that when you gain that memory, it is all turns. So if something's trashed from the top of your deck, you will gain a memory, or gain X amount of memory, depending on obviously your trash totals. Then we go in with the BL's X antibody. This is basically, this is your power play card, which pretty much wraps up games. Like, it's a solid win condition, because depending on how many cards you got in trash, you're able to burn a security card from the opponent's which is nice. So if you're at 20, you're able to burn 2. If you're at 30, burn 3. So when you're kind of closing out game, because you're going to be swinging with your Impmons, when they're around that free security, yeah, that's when this boy is going to be putting on that gas right there, which is really good. And then on deletion is that you're able to play a Digimon card with Impmon in its name from your trash without paying the cost. So the thing that's actually quite good here, which I actually didn't even realize, is that you can play Impmon X antibody off that. I thought you couldn't, but because it says in its name, yeah, definitely can. That's pretty freaking nice. So overall, fantastic in what this card does. Definitely running that at a solid 2. Then this is the bit that's probably going to tilt heads a bit, and I'm going to explain why. So running 2 blast modes. Yes, guys, 2. Sheesh, what are you doing, Dread? What are you doing? So hear me out, guys. This card is great for you to wrap up game and so forth, but it's also good to once again control field. And the reason why is that when this card is trashed from your deck, delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon. For every 10 cards in your trash, increase the highest level of this effect it can choose by 1. So obviously if you've got, once again, 20 in trash, you can delete level 5s. 30 level 6s. We're in that ace format right now, guys. In that ace format, every freaking deck has got some form of ace shenanigans. This right here, if you can obviously stack it with, say, like Wizardmon, boom, you've guaranteed free memory in the bank, because you've managed to pop their level 5, let's just say, or you prevented an ace play from happening because of this bad boy. It can really punish the opponent in terms of you just once again kind of executing your game plan. Obviously you want to fill up trash, why not freaking control their board whilst doing it? So this is the reason why I've actually upped it, and it's been working fantastic. At first I was a bit like not quite sure, but I have adjusted the ratios in terms of the options in order to facilitate this, because I feel like you get more value from this card versus the other card that obviously I will reveal in a minute. But obviously it's completely up to you. This is just a framework, guys. This is not law. But give it a whirl. Trust me. Honestly, the opponent be like, you son of a boop. For real, for real. So that concludes that for the megas. So going on to the options, you're probably going to see something that was once again going to tilt some heads here. So here we go. We're going to go with a Death Slinger at 4. It's self-explanatory, guys. Honestly, game memory, once it's trash from top of your deck, perfect. But this is, once again, in this format, there is so many aces about and so forth. Just punishing them straight off the bat, this just makes it a cost of 1 in that sense, and then it's put them massively behind, depending on obviously what they've done. And then it also increases per freaking 10 cards in trash. Honestly, it's a powerful deletion card. Level-based deletion is disgusting. Then we go in with the 4 rivals. So we're just making sure that our security is just spicy, guys. Because, once again, punishing the opponent. That's what this deck is good at. And this is why I do like Bielz. Because you get benefit from trashing the cards. You also get benefit from these cards just being in the security. It makes the opponent second guess what they are going to have to do in order for them to get the dub. But the good thing about this, obviously, is going to be helping us to retrieve our core pieces from the delay effect, which is great. And if we just have it in hand, then we can just pop the highest level Digimon that they have out on field. If it has an ace, effectively it's going to reduce the cost by 3, making it a 4-drop, which is not bad for using rivals. Really, really good. So, right, before the comments come flooding in and the downvotes are coming out, there is no right or wrong with this choice. And I'm still a firm believer that Trainings is definitely probably the better card. But I am trying Mist. And it's not because of the shiny new ult that it's got. Definitely not that. Good. But the thing about Trainings and Mist, like, I still stand by it. I think Trainings is probably the better call. So I definitely don't mind you using Trainings. Like I say, this is not law. But the thing that I am appreciating with Mist is that it's helping to fill up my trash quicker than what Trainings may do. You may play Training, you may not actually get the card that you need in order for you to kind of get up your line. Versus Mist, still equally the same kind of issue, but at least I've essentially built up my trash totals a little bit more, and I could high roll and disrupt the board or get a rival set up. It is all kind of like speculation, and I could get this, I could get that, and it's the same with Trainings. Like I could get the cards for go up the line, but I am valuing, and it has come up that I'm getting more oomph with this, and that 2 memory does come up. If I have to use a Death Slinger to pop one of their Digimon, at least it's going to reduce the cost of that. But like I say, this is not law. If you want to use Trainings, slot in Trainings is absolutely fine. Then lastly, we just won 1 7th cluster. So this is the actual card. I originally ran 2 because I like 7th cluster. So when you go into the BL's X, it's fantastic. But sometimes, because we're not in that meta where it's like everyone's got bookload of protection, like, you know, when we had like, you know, you needed to run 2 to get through like War Greymon stacks and so forth. I feel like I get more from the blast mode universally, because it enables me to go quicker. Like if I have to kind of go all the way up and just chip into security, I can do, and I can stack this to then delete more of a wider range. Versus this, it only deletes lowest level, which with decks that go a lot wider now, lowest level may not cut it. I'm almost having to use 2 options to kind of maybe get rid of their board. But when you do get the X play off, it is freaking spicy, and it is a good option to pitch when you're using Impmon X antibody. So you can flick between the ratios of obviously the BL's blast mode and this, but at the moment I am finding just a bit more value off of the blast mode because I can stack it and I can choose what I want to delete, versus this, it's just lowest level. But that concludes for the options. Quite hefty. Tamers. So have a guess what I'm running here. Nothing spicy here, guys. I'm going to calm down on the rogueness. I'm going to go back to, obviously, our for Ayamako. It's just the best surgery. If you just get one down, you're cooking. If you get multiple down, you're absolutely laughing. Just on play, great searcher, real 4. We love a 4 dig for a coster free. And basically search out pretty much the majority of our deck. And then from there, when you evo into a purple Digimon, by suspending this Tamer, return 1 card from your hand to the top of the deck and then gain the memory, which is just fantastic. And this is where Ayamako works well, obviously, with the BL's blast mode, because I can just stack, control what I want to kind of get rid of. We have rivals. I can also get the BM back if I need to get rid of like the opponent's Digimon. I have that flexibility. So it's a little bit more kind of control variant on this one, just because the way how the meta is kind of shaping up. BL's at the moment, and obviously the thumbnail is like, is BL's dead? Like, in a sense, I don't think it's dead. It's not as fast as it used to be, because obviously the decks have just sped up massively. But I feel like because the way the overall deck is and how it's very, it's got so many kill options that can just basically ruin your day. In this format where there's aces are just becoming more relevant, a lot of decks will have aces in them. You can take advantage of that, and I think that's where BL's kind of works quite nice, because it is level-based deletion. That's just overall quite powerful. And to be honest, Bandai could one day simply go, you know what, deck's running a little bit rampant here. Got this deck here that was a premium product. We need to just like up EX2 Impmon to say 2. And to be honest, I think that would make a massive difference if we saw that card more often. To easily speed this deck up. So there's always scope for that. It's up to Bandai what they want to do. I don't think they'll ever run it back to full power. That'd be nuts. Obviously in EX6, we do have access to the new BLs, which has Rush, which is going to be very powerful. So I think that's where you'll probably see your BT10 BAL and just your starter deck battles being the main runners, because just able to get BLs out with Rush with D-Digivolve is freaking nuts, to be honest. No man, Bandai was cooking something when they were dropping that. But guys, that's what I think right there. BLs, it's not dead, but I wouldn't say it's massively alive, but I think it's still playable. It's definitely still playable, and you can definitely still have fun with it. But if you enjoyed the video, smash it with a like as standard. Stay safe, stay fly, and I'll catch you next one. Digidread off the mic.